Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, I'm back with the 2020 complete year overhaul. This is everything I picked up for CDs, tape, and vinyl for the year 2020. This is all 2020 releases. Actually, it's kind of a lie. I'm not going to show all the throwback vinyl albums I got because they're kind of sporadically placed in spots, and I'm not 100% sure actually what came out for old school releases in 2020 besides the HHV 90s tape vinyl releases, which I already had together. So I'll show those. But yes, I got a couple tapes, a lot of CDs and stuff, a lot of throwback 2020 releases from like Chopped Hearing and Hip Hop Enterprise and 90s tapes and various other kind of boutique throwback labels and stuff. So it's been a really amazing year for throwback album releases, like just amazing stuff. And actually a couple Holy Grail albums for myself that came out in 2020. I actually never thought I'd see the release for one of them. One of them, the other one I knew eventually would probably come out, but one of them was total Holy Grail for me. I can't believe it actually came out. It came out of left field for me. Amazing. So, but yeah, for 2020 albums from 2020, I picked up a fair amount of albums, but there was a lot of albums I was having problems getting. Of course, with all the world issues that we've been having and stuff, shipping became a very, very big problem. So I kind of stopped ordering a lot of stuff, especially from the US, because I live in Canada, and just shit was not showing up. It just simply wasn't showing up, and I couldn't really get overly mad because I kept ordering stuff, and it's kind of my fault and stuff. But yeah, the shipping has been such a mess for the last few months that I kind of stopped. So there's a lot of releases that I actually didn't end up picking up, through Bandcamp and things like that. So, but I do have a fair amount of releases that I actually did find copies of in one way or another. So without further ado, let's get into the update. I'll start off here with a couple tapes I picked up from a UK company called, what is actually the name of the company here? I think it's just AE Productions. I think that's just what the name of them is. Anyways, so first up here is Cut Beatles. This actually wasn't released on CD. There is a vinyl release which sold out in like 5.5 seconds. So, and I believe they have said that they're going to repress the vinyl. So I'm probably end up picking up that. But these tape releases were actually quite cheap. So, which is really cool. To at least get a physical copy. This one's on yellow tape and stuff. If you're not familiar with the Cut Beatles, they are a Finnish production crew. So two guys from Finland. And man, they knocked it out the park here with the features and shit, man. We got the good people on here. We got Guilty Simpson. We got Rod Digga, Elda Sensei. We got J Live. Good people do a few tracks on here and stuff. Sound Size on here. Amazing songs. I like the little bit of filler tracks, which are kind of instrumental scratch tracks and stuff that the Cut Beatles do and shit. But this is banging, man. This is a really, really dope album. Highly recommend this from 2020. It was something, once it came out, I listened to a shitload. So yeah, check out the Cut Beatles. Good shit right there. And then this album right here is insanely odd. It's a very odd pairing. And this one kind of came out of left field, probably for everybody, really. But this is Joe Ron Bombay and Philmos Chill. If you're not familiar with Joe Ron Bombay, is actually a producer from, I believe, Halifax. I think he's actually from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So Canadian producer. And yeah, Philmos Chill is like an old school hip hop artist, man. This guy is old, man. He was doing it in the early 80s and stuff. I know he dropped a single in like 1988 called On Tempo Track, and then he ended up like doing a comic strip for like Rap Sheet. Remember the Rap Sheet back in the 90s and stuff for like 4 or 5 years or whatever. And then his career like resurrected as a rapper. I think in like the mid 2000s, then he put out a couple albums, and then here he is in 2020 working with a Canadian producer. It's just a really interesting story. Like there's a lot to his story. I was kind of unfamiliar with his albums that he had dropped and stuff. I knew the name, but I didn't realize he had dropped stuff in the 2000s, kind of obscure and stuff. But this is really cool. It's kind of a major throwback sounding album. It sounds like early 80s, not like straight disco, but it does have that kind of early 80s vibe, but with a new school vibe also. Really good shit, man. This really does work. It's such a dope album. Cool release on blue cassette, and I will say this one sounds absolutely amazing on tape, man. It's crazy, like really, really good analog sound. So I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, the album is called Joe Run PMC. Dope artwork on it too, if you guys can make that out. I'm sorry about the glare as usual. I know my homeboy Jason's screaming at me going, yep, I'm only here for the glare as usual. I can't help it, man. This fucking lighting sucks. But anyways, A Productions from the UK. Check them out. Vinyl tape releases and stuff. I really wish they'd have put them on CD too, because I would have caught those. But because tapes are a little bit harder to listen to. You literally have to be by your tape deck. I guess it's kind of like vinyl too, right? But anyways, 2 little tape releases. I do have another one, but it's in the old school releases. So we'll get into some Chopped Hearing Records 2020 album releases. First up here we have A+ and The Architect, of course. A+ part of Souls of Mischief and Hieroglyphics, of course. Man, I don't really know what the fuck was going on with these two this year, but I'm going to say this is definitely them taking full advantage of, COVID and the whole quarantine and shit, because these guys put out 4 albums this year, and all of them were really fucking quality, man. I got to say, one of them was kind of a Christmas themed album. I wouldn't say it was Christmas music. It just had themes and stuff. And so that was pretty cool, man. But yeah, they did like 4 albums, very, very typical type albums of 2020, 11, 12, 13 tracks, 30 to 35-minute albums, very, very short, but definitely well worth your time and stuff. And I think the A+ just knocked it out the park this year, man. He just did a great job. A+ and The Architect, man, really good shit, called Free Dope from Chopped Hearing Records. That's one thing I like about Chopped Hearing, is that they do release some brand new, modern albums and shit mixed in with their old school releases. So really cool stuff. This one right here is a fantastic record. This is Bobby Noble and Lars Viola. Good Time Bobby's Got the Blues. 2020 album. Of course, Bobby Noble is from Pen Pals. And I think Lars Viola actually worked with Pen Pals. I think that's why they ended up doing the solo record together and shit. But fucking dope album, man. Really, really amazing shit. It's short, again, it's very, very typical of the times. Albums aren't like they used to be, 15, 16 tracks, 45 to 60 minutes. They're all, 10 to 12 tracks, 30 minutes now. So it's just the way it is. It's kind of a little bit frustrating, because some of these albums that are really, really dope, I always feel like I want a little bit more. This is one of those examples that I felt was a little bit too short, but it's really good though. Really good shit. So if you're familiar with Pen Pals, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into with this, but really good shit. So that one's cool. This one right here is Melting Bee. Fuck. Starvin' Bee Melting Pot. This is he's like a New York City MC and shit. I didn't really know much about this. This one kind of came out of left field for me. I think I've seen him featured on a couple tracks. I didn't know that this was coming. Chopped Hearing is very, very on the ball with some of the releases and shit like that. And this one kind of came out of left field for me a little bit, but dope ass beats on here, man. We got some features from Nems, Napoleon the Legends on here. We got Little Fame, Rashid Chappelle, who is back, kind of. He's been doing projects and shit, man. He did one with fucking Buckwild this year, which is really dope. So that was interesting. Again, really, really short, 9 tracks. I think it runs about 30 minutes or something like that. But, Starvin' Bee, Melting Pot. I thought this was really dope. Just another quick listen, though. Really good. This one right here is the anthem and might be Never Selling Out. Yeah, man. So Never Selling Out. Yeah, of course, Mike B is, of course, from The Last Jazz Club. He's in a group with Vex and shit like that. But look at that album cover. So dope. I love the artwork on this. This is like one of my favorite albums of the year, man. This shit is fantastic, man. Great ass beats. If you're a fan of Last Jazz Club, like, you definitely will be into this right here, man. It's fucking dope. So I believe that the anthem is actually from San Jose. I believe he's like a San Jose MC and shit. But yeah, this is really, really dope sounding underground hip hop right here, but really good shit. So yeah. But again, if you're a fan of Last Jazz Club, man, yeah, you'll be digging that shit for sure. This one right here is Da What, another cat I'd never actually heard of, called Crown Jewels. This guy right here, I think, is from Seattle. Out of all places, man, we're getting Seattle back on the map here. I'm sure that Mixalot did not put this guy anywhere near the maps. But this was an interesting release from Chopped Hearing Records because, again, I didn't know really anything about the MC, and I was surprised to see the Beat Miners produce this entire record, which was kind of interesting. I want to say, you know, by the track listing, it doesn't seem like it's a fully 2020 album. I mean, it has a couple original tracks on here and shit like that, but it's, again, quite short. I thought it was decent. I thought this was decent. I didn't think it was the greatest Beat Miners production, which is kind of a shame because Beat Miners are like one of my favorite duo producing crews of all time. They produced 2 of my all-time favorite top 10 albums. You know, and, you know, it's good. I'm going to go back and give this one another listen, but, you know, the what? Crown Jewels from Seattle of all fucking places, man. It's crazy. So, and then we got DJ M1, Habit of a Lifetime. I can't never remember any of these album titles. This guy is a Irish producer, I believe, and I love the album artwork right there. And he's got cats on here ranging from, we got Glad to Mech on here, Elementos on here, DJ Eclipse. We got Trey 8, Valkill. Valkill's on here. Shit, man, where the fuck has that guy been? Sadat X, Waddle X is on here. We got some dope MCs. This was really good, man. I thought this was really cool. I'm a big fan of these kind of producer albums and shit like that because, you know, they sound cohesive because it's one producer, right? Hence my favorite albums being one producer, one MC albums, you know, like the Anthem and Might Be and shit like that. So, but yeah, this was pretty cool. Good producer record. Cool to see some cats on there like Sadat X and Waddle X and cool shit, man. Cool shit. Next up, we got Burgundy Blood, The Fall of Man. This is a brand new album from Burgundy Blood, who is a UK MC. This was really cool, man. It kind of, sometimes UK hip hop catches me off guard a little bit. It's a little bit more kind of boom bappy. It has a kind of a different style to it and shit like that, but it's one I actually haven't listened to in a while. I got this, you know, when it came out a few months ago and shit, and I got to go back to it and kind of give it another spin and shit like that. But probably before I do my top 50 list, which is probably going to be the next video. It'll be up in a couple days actually. So, but there's a couple albums I just want to kind of spin through again, just kind of refresh myself and stuff. But Burgundy Blood, UK MC. He's definitely going to be one of those guys that's probably not for everybody, but very interesting stuff. And then, of course, we got Napoleon the Legend. This is called Chikara. I believe this is called Chikara. This is an interesting release because it literally doesn't even have his name on it. It's like all written in Japanese, and, you know, it doesn't say anything about Napoleon the Legend on here. Still with the Chopped Hearing releases. Pretty cool. You know, again, short album, 10 tracks. It's got a few features on here. But I thought this was really cool, man. This one kind of flew under the radar. I didn't really see anyone talk about this album this year. I don't know if a lot of people even knew it even came out. And people always ask me all the time, are like, Chopped Hearing Records a legit company? And I'm like, yeah, these are not bootlegs. I don't know why I get that question all the time. And then the other question is, are they pressed up? And I'm like, of course they are. Of course they're pressed up. They just do a lot of the releases kind of black and white. Some of the newer releases are colored covers and stuff like that. But I like their throwback releases. A lot of them are just black and white covers, which is pretty cool because a lot of those releases never had releases. These are kind of made releases, right? So, but yeah, this is kind of cool. If you're a fan of Napoleon the Legend, it's kind of what you're expecting from him. Really. Yeah. Put out actually a couple projects this year, like most people seem to be putting out so many projects, man. It's just fucking crazy, man. All right, so moving into, I guess, some digipacks here, the way I have this all stacked up, I guess. And of course, we got the new Benny the Butcher album, Burden of Proof, which is fucking fantastic, man. Beats on here are great. Benny is by far my favorite from Griselda, hands down. Like, I've been very open about it. I can't stand West Side Gun. I know, hate on me, but it's just, he's one of the most annoying MCs I've ever heard. I can't stand his voice, can't stand the ad-libs and stuff. It's just a shame because he always has dope beats and dope guests and shit. It's crazy. Conway's cool. I'm not the hugest fan, but Benny's where it's at for me, man. I like his delivery and shit and in his voice and stuff. It just comes across as just being a little bit more, I don't know, straight up hard. His approach fits the beats that he uses a lot better. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I really dug this shit, man. Freddie Gibbs is on here, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, who else we got? Dom Kennedy on here. Of course, Conway and Westside Gun and shit like that. But man, fucking bangers from top to bottom on this shit, man. Really, really good album. Enjoyed the shit out of that one. We got We got the Professionals, which is Madlib and Oh No. Of course, Oh No, it does all the MCing on here, and Madlib does the beats, which I thought was kind of interesting that it was kind of done like that. Of course, both being producers and MCs, it could have went both ways. It could have been a mixed bag of Oh No and Madlib beats mixed with vocals and shit, but they kind of did it differently. It's decent. I expected a little bit more from these guys because I'm a big fan of Madlib and Oh No throughout the years. They've done so many great projects and stuff, and the brothers came together as the Professionals and did a decent album. It is what it is. I think it could have been a little bit better though. We got Sky Zoo Milestones. This is actually quite short, man. It's just an EP. I think there's 7 songs on here. Again, Sky Zoo's like, for anybody that's followed me through the years knows, I seem to buy like everything from Sky Zoo, and I do like Sky Zoo, and I always say this every single time, but man, he does bore the shit out of me sometimes. It's weird. Like I can, but this is kind of cool. Like when you listen to an EP of Sky Zoo, it's like, okay, it's good. And usually I always complain about albums being a little bit too short and stuff. With Sky Zoo, I'm like, yeah, it's perfect, man. So, but he is dope though. This was pretty cool. It's not really his greatest work and stuff. It just feels quick. Again, that's the thing, like 7 tracks, but they're really short and stuff. So Milestones, I know he put out a couple projects this year also. That jazzy one that he did was pretty cool, actually. We got Eloquent. What's the name of this record? Forever is a Pretty Long Time. Canadian producer. I believe he's from Ontario, somewhere in Ontario, Southern Ontario or something like that. But he's really cool, man. He's very, very jazzy and soulful and shit like that. Most of his projects to date are more instrumental and shit like that. This one does have some vocals. We got Odyssey on here, Guilty Simpsons also on here, Blue, a few other cats, a few other R&B artists and shit like that. But I love the beats, man. It's a great grooving record, man. Really cool shit from Mellow Music Group. They're always putting out kind of different stuff, different things all over the map and stuff, especially now. They definitely drop a lot of different stuff, but most of the stuff on Mellow Music Group is really cool, but some of it's not really for me, but this is cool, man. Eloquent, if you like instrumental, kind of jazzy, boom bappy, it's good. It's good shit. Really enjoyed that one. Clear Soul Forces With You. This is Clear Soul Forces, I believe, 4th album now. They've been really 4th or 5th, but they've been super consistent for me. This is probably my least favorite album from these guys. They always seem to come in really high with the release every time I do my top 30 or top 50 albums of the year and stuff. This one right here, again, it's short. It's 10 tracks. It feels rushed a little bit though, man. I feel like it just wasn't as approachable for the ears than their past albums. I know there's something about that. There's some cool tracks on here, but they actually Give Me the Mic is pretty cool, but yeah. It was okay. I think that, the Detroit crew. Man, this is a fucking banger right here, man. Apollo Brown, Shea Noir, As God Intended. Oh my God, dude. Shea Noir, man. Fuck, man. I don't care if you're not into female MCs, because it doesn't bother me. I really don't give a shit, but she is so dope, man. She's very soulful with her words and shit, man. Oh, she's dope, man. This is great. What a great combination. Apollo Brown, his beats fit her style and her lyrics, everything, delivery so well on this record, man. This is such an awesome album. I love how it ends with the song 1994, which is basically kind of, it's a reminiscent track about how 1994 influenced her and stuff like that. It's really cool, man. But the whole record just, you kind of get right into her psyche lyric-wise and stuff, and you get to really know who she is and stuff. And again, it's just accompanied by Apollo Brown's amazing soulful beats. Like Apollo Brown's one of those producers that's been so consistent for me for like the last 15 years. Everything he's put out has been very, very solid to great. He hasn't really done anything shitty. Great combination here, man. Detroit producer, Shea Noir, being from Buffalo, I believe. She's kind of in that whole Griselda thing, I think, a little bit. Does stuff with them, with the Trust crew and shit, but this is pretty cool. We got Sky Zoo on here, Planet Asia. Black Thought makes an appearance, and it's a fucking great album. Really, really great shit. Highly, highly recommend that album. We got Larange and Solomon Brigman with Marlowe 2. Not as good as the first one, I will say. This one did grow on me. At first, I was kind of taken back by it a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. And then I did listen to it a few more times. Like, it's actually pretty cool. It's just, it comes off as being a little bit more sporadic and a little bit different than the first one. I get it. It feels like growth. It feels like they're trying to do something a little bit different, not really do the same old shit, which makes sense. Larange is kind of all over the place. Solomon Brigman's not really my favorite MC in the world, but he seems to really kind of fit Larange's production to a point. It's not all good, but it is actually pretty decent. It definitely grew on me throughout the year and shit. So another pretty solid release from Mellow Music Group. So Yeah, they're always coming through with the. Actually, a lot of these are Mellow Music Group. Man, Mellow Music Group seems to put out a ton of shit. This is another Mellow Music Group release, and that is the Dueling Experts, which is Recognize LE and Verbal Kent. I really enjoy this. They actually dropped a sequel to this album, which I believe is just digitally only released. Yeah, I think it's just digitally only done. But this was cool, man. I really enjoyed this one. I banged a lot in the beginning of the year. This is one of the first albums of the year I think I got. I think it came out in the first quarter of the year or something like that. So I've always been a big fan of Verbal Kent. I don't know. A lot of people seem to talk shit on him and stuff. And Recognize Ali has been putting out so much good shit, man. That guy is fucking fired to me, man. So pretty interesting combination, but I dig it. Oh man, speaking of content, man, the God Fahim, Lost Kings, man, dude, it's just so interesting to me. Yeah, so let's put it on Nature Sounds. Like this guy right here has put out like 120 albums in like the last 4 or 5 years. It's ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about, quantity over quality. And it seems like every one of those releases is like 4 or 5 songs and shit. Why don't these guys just sit down and fucking do some full length albums, man? Put out some quality over this quantity shit, man. It's crazy. Like, it just seems like there's a new digital release like every couple days with these guys. You can't keep up. It's insane. The releases that are coming out now, it's absolutely insane to me to try and keep up with this shit, man. But I thought this was pretty dope, man. This felt more of like an attempt at making an album, even though it's 10 tracks, like 30 minutes long, like every fucking album this year. We do have some pretty interesting production on here. We got DJ Muggs, the God Fahim, of course, does some production himself on here. We got The Architect, which we talked about earlier. And Sea Lance is actually on here too. So the production is really crazy, man. We got MC features from Vinny Paz, Makami's on here on a couple tracks and stuff. So production and feature wise, really cool. God Fahim is dope. Just can't keep up with this guy's output. It's absolutely insane to me that you're putting out that much stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but that's just my opinion, man. I have no problem with God Fahim. I just wish he would just kind of settle down and just start doing some albums, like, yeah, it is what it is, but this was really good. Like that album. We got MC8's Official. I know that he dropped this one. I think officially is a 2020 release. I think I got this one in late 2019 though, because I had pre-ordered the package and I think I just got it early. But I think it officially is a 2020 album. And then of course he just released his other one, which I couldn't actually get a physical of it because it was just expensive, man. It was like $35 for just the CD. Plus the shipping was crazy. Plus it was going to cost me like $65-$70 for CD. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's crazy shit, man. But yeah, this is really long too, man. This is like a double disc, 27 tracks, which, I go from talking about albums being too damn long to almost, or too damn short to too damn long. His other album is really long too. It's like 75 minutes from, yeah, a couple months ago it came out. It's like 75 minutes too. It's crazy. Which I didn't really have a problem with, but this is a double disc and it's pretty damn long, but it's cool. MC8, I feel like he's just doing his shit, man. Him and Chill and Compton's Most Wanted, like obviously him and Chill, Compton's Most Wanted, doing lots of shit the last couple years, which is really cool. It's just hard to obtain the releases, which is kind of frustrating. So, but we got features from Exhibit on here. Chill's all over the fucking record. He's on like tons and tons of tracks, and it's pretty much it. It's pretty much MC8 and Chill. It's almost like, a version of a dumbed down Compton's Most Wanted record, really, with the amount of features actually on here. So, but MC8's Official, pretty cool. I enjoyed that album. We got Gorilla Twins, which is Ill Bill and Nems. I was super highly anticipating this album like no tomorrow because I'm a big Ill Bill fan. I'm a big Nems fan. I just like the aggressive styles, and it's just like fuck your life attitudes and shit. And it's just kind of interesting to listen to. Production's on point here, man. We got some fucking Stu Bangers, which is probably one of the hardest working producers out right now. I mean, that guy must have put out like 7 or 8 projects this year. It's just crazy the amount of shit that guy was putting out, in quality stuff too, man. Ill Bill did production on here, some other cats and shit. The only problem with this album is it's too fucking short, man. There's 12 tracks, and I believe that there's only, I don't know, like it runs maybe not even like 25, 26. It's crazy short. It's crazy short. You're listening to this thing and you're just like, what? That's it? That's all I'm going to fucking get? It's crazy. But that artwork though, man, that Gorilla Twins artwork is fantastic, man. But I do dig it. I feel like this was rushed. I don't know. I don't know what other adjective to use, but I feel like this is rushed, and it's kind of a damn shame, man. These albums are just fucking short these days. Crazy. Gorilla Twins. Yep. All right, so speaking of, full-length albums, which this cat always does this. He always puts out the quality long albums and shit, and that's, of course, Vinny Paz's new record. As Above, So Below. To date, I have to say, I dug this album. It's probably my least favorite Vinny Paz solo album to date, though. I guess something has to come at the bottom. My least favorite, yeah. So we got Essie Knack on here, Block McLeod, we got Demos on here, we got Amon, of course, does one hook on here. I think he's on maybe on a couple. Recognize Ali's on here. Not a lot of features actually. 18 tracks. It's long. It's a long Vinny album, as usual and stuff. He definitely puts in his work when he does his albums and stuff. But I just feel like I don't know. There's something about this one. I mean, the beats are cool, man. Like I really do like I Am the Chaos, man. Typical. It's typical Vinny Paz. It's just rugged and raw shit and stuff. Production is pretty cool. He's pretty much all the same producers that he always has on here and stuff. But I don't know. It just comes across as not being his greatest work. I'm not saying it's unfocused or anything. I just feel like he's just done better stuff. It's still solid as shit though. It's Vinny Paz. So speaking of insanely long but really really quality albums, and that is Are the Rugged Man, All My Heroes Are Dead album. I fucking missed the vinyl on this. It's crazy. I don't really know what the hell happened with that, but yeah, this is a long album, 22 tracks. I think it runs in over 70 minutes, but it's warranted though. I mean, RA hasn't put out an album in so long. He's definitely always working. He's touring a lot. He's doing a lot of work and shit like that. He just puts a lot of effort into his albums, and I this is what I'm talking about, man. You can take as long as you want, as long as you put out like a really really quality album, and this is a great example of something that definitely was a lot of years in the making. And it's crazy when you hear the interviews with him too. Like, for 22 tracks that made the album, he cut a lot of songs off this. I think he said he has like a whole nother album worth of material that he recorded around this time that kind of didn't make the album and shit, which is really interesting. But yeah, production is it's fire on here, man. We got Atmosphere on here. Ghostface Killa, Master Killa, Cool G Raps on here. Afro, man, got to be dope. That song with Afro, dude. It's ridiculous with DJ Jazzy Jeff on it too. It's just silly, man. Inspected Deck and Timbo King. Man, Ed Koch, New York, that track is ridiculous, man. Like, shit, dude. Inspected Deck just murders that shit. It's crazy. The Slayers Club, which is pretty cool that they dropped this really fancy 10-inch for that with MOP, Vinny Paz, Chris Rivers, of course, Big Pun's son. Onyx, Chino XL, Brand Nubian, and Ice motherfucking T, which was the last thing I said to my wife before I came downstairs. She was watching Law and Order SUV special, no, SVU. Anyways, I don't even know why I told you that. Mortal Technique, Chuck D, of course. Yeah, it's fantastic, man. A lot of great tracks in here. Funny ass videos for Legendary Loser and stuff. It's typical RA, talking about his life and stuff, content wise and shit. But it's good. It's good. It is what it is. All right, the Rugged Man. I'm gonna put this in the hip hop collection because it's Ice motherfucking T, and that's Body Count's new album, Carnivore. Definitely more of a metal record, but it's Ice-T rapping on it, and it's actually really cool, man. He actually does a remake of Colors on here, which is fantastic. Does a cover of Motorhead's Ace of Spades, and shit like that. But yeah, it's good, man. This is a good Body Count record, man. Ice-T, old as shit, still doing it hardcore, fucking rights, man. Body motherfucking count, man. It's crazy. This is actually insanely well done, man. It's a good album. Then we got Run the Jewels 4. Oh yeah, it does say on. Okay, I didn't think it said 4 on the side, but it does. My eyes are deceiving me. I'm getting old. Run the Jewels 4, which is probably it's probably up there with my second favorite album, man. Their first album's my favorite. It used to go in order, like 1, 2, 3. I think the third album is still their weakest, man. But this one right here probably jumped over their second album, man. This is really fucking good, man. Good album, like right from the top, man. Yankee and the Brave to like, A Few Words for the Firing Squad. Man, this whole record is fucking dope. It's super cool to hear Zach De La Roca on a track on here again, working with them. It's just, you get glimpses of De La Roca on these Run the Jewel records and stuff. You just kind of want a Zach solo album or even like a brand new Rage Against the Machine album. Of course, Ooh La La with, Greg Nice and DJ Premier, of course, the sample and stuff. Pharrell Williams is on here. It's just a great album, great political stuff. Killer Mike, LP, knocked it out the fucking park. I think it's great. I know Run the Jewels isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it is what it is. I'm actually wearing an LP shirt right now for Fantastic Damage. Old Def Jock shit. Man, I must have got this shirt in 2005 or whenever the album came out. So, But yeah, Run the Jewels, good shit. How long is... Oh, man, we're like half... Oh, man, I'm going to have to fucking speed this up, man, if I want to get through this. All right, we'll just stop talking about this too much. But yeah, Kool Keith and Thetan. I don't really know the producer all that well, but, you know, when Kool Keith drops records, I'm always curious because you never know what you're going to get with a Kool Keith record. You really don't. This was actually surprisingly decent. I like the beats on here. Keith is rapping, and he sounds pretty interesting. It's kind of like a combination. I feel like he's so old and senile now that he's forgetting which alias he's doing sometimes. Like Kool Keith is starting to sound like fucking Dr. Octagon. I don't know. It's funny, man. It's like more like Black Elvis right here a little bit, but I don't know. This was actually not bad. It wasn't that bad. I will say that. So, yeah, so we got a new Atmosphere record here the day before Halloween. This is really, really short. It's like 10 tracks. I don't think I've ever said this about well, I mean, there has been a couple Atmosphere records in the last few years that have been kind of hit miss when they kind of went through that whole kind of almost like an emo stage, man. Starting with Lemons, and then it seemed like the next like 3 or 4 albums kind of were like they felt like leftovers from Lemons. They weren't really my favorite albums and shit. Like this one right here, I did not care for at all. I can't get into this album. It's like this weird kind of synth, like I don't know what the fuck this is, man. Like I'm so confused by the sound and what was going on here and shit. I just really don't know what this is all about. I can't get into this at all. And I'm a big Atmosphere fan. Definitely not Ant's best production of the year. Yeah. Action Bronson's, the fuck is this called? Only for Dolphins? Yeah. Only for Dolphins. I can't remember any album titles this year. My brain is getting mushy. Cool artwork here, man. I like actually the Action Bronson production on here was pretty cool, man. Definitely his best album in a long time. I will say that. You know, this is way better than some of the stuff he's been doing recently. I thought this was actually quite good. There were some really interesting samples in the way he flips some shit on this one. It was pretty cool. There's other production, obviously. We got Hologram, Mayhem Lorenz on here. But yeah, it was good. It was good to hear Action doing something that actually sounded pretty quality for once. No, I shouldn't say for once, but yeah. But this is good. This is good. And then we got Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist with Alfredo. Again, 10-track album, very, very short. Features from Rick Ross, Benny's on here, Tyler the Creator, which is so bizarre, and Conway's on here. Dope, though, Alchemist, you know, always changing up his style of production and shit like that. This is really cool. Big fan of Freddie Gibbs. They make a good combination, man. This is good shit. Alfredo. I think I've seen this on a lot of top 10 lists this year, man. But, you know, it's warranted, man. Freddie Gibbs is that dude right now. Alchemist has been doing it for so long that he's just fucking the Alchemist, man. And then we got Aesop Rock's Spirit World Field Guide. CD version here. Amazing album. What can I say, man? Like, Aesop Rock always just seems to put out quality shit, dude. He's just insane. Beats are fucking insane on this. The rhymes are insane. Like, I swear every time I listen to this, any Aesop album, I pick out something that I'm just trying to decipher, and it's crazy. When you speak in metaphors and shit, it's just crazy. But it sounds really good. It's just a really interesting and dope record, so I highly enjoyed that shit. And then we got Nas's record, King's Disease, which I have a huge fucking... There's like a crease right in the middle of it. Oh, man. Hit Boys production. Not for me. I know some people actually dug this a little bit. I can't get into this album at all. Man, I'm an old school, huge Nas fan. I just think that I have no idea why the fuck Nas does this to his fans, man. Puts out these albums. I get it. He's like on the borderline of still having fans from both worlds of like, you know, the street underground to like, you know, to mainstream and stuff like that. But it is what it is, man. Just make a record. Just do what you want. I don't know if this is the type of shit that he wants to do. This isn't as bad as some of the stuff that he's done over the years. And it's not even that bad of an album. It's not what I was digging. You know, at first I kind of liked Full Circle, you know, the Firm reunion with AZ, Foxy Brown, and Cormega, like the actual Firm. But then I realized after listening to it a couple times how terrible Foxy Brown's verse is. It's horrible. It's actually really bad. I don't know, man. There's some dope lyrics on here and shit. I can't get into it though. I can't get into it. It's crazy. It's just so sad. All I wanted to do was love a new Nas record, you know? Speaking of better, and production, and that of course is Felt For You, the fourth Felt album, Slug and Mirrors. This is fucking dope, dude. The first track on the record, Never's Enough, is so sick, man. But this whole album is just, it's dope. Them going back and forth, and just, someone dubbed this the other day as being like daddy rap, and I was like, yeah, I can see that, man. But that they are. They're old and they're dads. This is the type of music that they make now, you know? It's like, but it's dope. It's really fun. It's funky. It's really good production from Ants on here. Really killed this. It's so different than the Atmosphere records. Crazy. We got a couple of features from the Grouch and A$AP Rock on here, but otherwise it's mostly just Slug and Mirrors. A couple dope releases from Rhymesayers, but yeah, this is really good. Really enjoyed that. We got Blue in Exile with Miles, double disc album. Pretty interesting, man. 10 tracks on each disc. It's actually quite long. Like, they do a lot of tracks on here. It's very jazzy, boom bappy, very soulful album. Like, definitely different than what they've done in the past. It's kind of like, you know, it just feels like such an I hate that term too, elevated movies and hip whatever, but it does, it feels like on a different playing field for themselves. It feels like they're just really trying to grow their style and stuff on here, and it's really cool. It's cool to see AC Alone have a feature on here. For Sean's on here, pretty cool. A lot of R&B singers and shit like that, and other musicians and stuff, but pretty cool, man. I really enjoyed this in this hard kind of digipack shit. Blue's one of those guys that does put out a lot of records, but I really do dig his stuff that he does with Exile. It's pretty cool, so enjoyed that one. Seen that one on a lot of top lists this year also, which is probably warranted, man, if you're a fan of Blue and Exile and Together. Yeah, cool stuff. Public Enemy's What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down. This was dope. This was really, really fun. I was, you know, when Public Enemy puts out a record, I'm always all over it because I'm a huge Public Enemy fan. They're the group that got me into music in 1988, and I always stuck with them. But, you know, Public Enemy in my eyes hasn't done as bad of albums as people think that they have in the 2000s. Some of it's pretty good. But this is cool, man. Starts out with a feature from George Clinton, man. We got fucking Cypress Hill on here, more Clinton, Primo. We got Mike Dean Ad-Rock from the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Daddy-O. We got Rhapsody, Black Thought, Nas, Ice-T, PMD. Dude, this is like the most throwback shit, man. The sound isn't really necessarily all that throwback, but it's dope, man. There's some good beats on here. I think the album, you know, right from the amazing artwork and the awesome title, it's very politically charged. It's Chuck D, Flavor Flav. It's good, man. I really enjoyed the shit out of this, so good shit. Yeah, we're on to some Jewel Cases. This album came out of left field for me, man. I'm a massive Paris fan, and this shit just like out of left field for me, man. Safe Space, Invader, new Paris album. Really just out, and you know, it kind of makes sense that Paris would drop an album the same year that Public Enemy did, considering they did a collabo album a bunch of years ago, which I really enjoyed. But of course, Paris being so political and stuff, and with all the shit that's been going on, you know, it kind of made sense. This is definitely not my favorite Paris album. He's definitely done better work, but it's Paris. You know, it's G-funk beats and stuff with his politically charged lyrics and stuff. It's Paris. Still sounding pretty cool. 10 tracks. It's a little bit longer because the songs are a little bit longer, but, you know, it's fucking Paris. It was pretty interesting even for him to have an album come out. We got Lil Wayne's Funeral, which I have to say, man, you know, in the last, like, 3-4 years, I kind of got into some of the, like, the Manny Fresh production era of, like, you know, 95 to like 2005 and stuff. And I really got into it. I really like a lot of that Cash Money stuff. I know a lot of people are like, holy shit, crazy. But it's fun to listen to from, you know, time to time and stuff. And then I did check out some of the records after that Manny Fresh production era and stuff like that. And I picked up this one because this was $4.99 brand new. And I'm like, I might as well check it out and stuff. And I gotta say, this is not Wayne's best work. This is not the greatest shit ever. In fact, I couldn't get into this at all. I definitely like early stuff. The Manny Fresh production is really good, man, but just it's not really for me. But you know, for $5, I'll take it. This was fucking shocking. Well, I mean, I guess the fact that it even came out, and then of course he dropped, you know, the sequel to this also, and that's Music to Be Murdered By. And you know, again, you know, it's Eminem. It's gonna be hit and miss with beats and choruses and shit like that. But man, dude, it's just an absolute beast on vocals, man. It's just crazy, dude. It's crazy, man, some of the shit that's on here. But, you know, overall, I actually really enjoyed this. This is the first Eminem album I probably liked since, oh, shit, man. Since Relapse, I think. Relapse is probably the last record. His last couple albums I couldn't, oh my, they're so bad. They're just horrible. But, you know, I am a fan of Eminem and when he's doing some decent stuff. And I feel like he stepped it up with this, and then he did, you know, in the Music to Be Murdered By kind of sequel and shit, I thought was pretty decent also. You know, it's got some interesting stuff on here, but it's pretty interesting to see like Rise to 5'9" and Black Thought and Q-Tip on a fucking Eminem record, and just above there's Juice WRLD. It's crazy. Of course, Royce is on here, King Crooked, you know, Crooked Eye. Lots of features, lots of good shit, but you know, Eminem is definitely the star of it. But you know, he's a weird cat. You know, you can tell he's been isolated for too long, but you know, he's still trying to stay relevant. But that flow, dude, ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Surprise album of the year for myself is, of course, Busta Rhymes' ELE2. Man, dude, I really dug it. There's a couple tracks on here I didn't really like one of the singles, You with Anderson .Paak. I wasn't a big fan. Oh no. But man, some really good shit on here, man. Like right from the intro with Chris Rock, Rakim, and Pete Rock. The intro's fucking dope, dude. We got MOP and Out of My Mind with the sample from Belle Biv DeVoe. It's amazing, man. Old Dirty Bastard sample on here with the Slow Fo sample. Q-Tips on here, Rick Ross, Rap City. Man, Kendrick Lamar. Like, there's a lot of good shit on here. And, you know, I was like, man, 22 tracks, and I'm not a big fan of sequel albums and shit. And he did it up, man. Busta hasn't dropped an album in like 10 years, 10, 11 years or whatever. And I thought this was really good. I know it's getting a little bit mixed reactions and stuff. But I think this is overall pretty damn good. With the exception of a few parts on here, which it's probably going to happen with these type of records. But overall, really good. I enjoyed it. Surprised the shit out of me. Then we got People Without Shoes, Plasma Platter, with Inkswell on the beats and shit. This was really interesting. I'm a big fan of People Without Shoes. Did I say People Under the Stairs? I don't know if I did. That's probably something I would say. But People Without Shoes, if I did say People Under the Stairs, that's just me thinking of putts. People Without Shoes, production from Inkswell. Man, he's been putting out a lot of shit over the last few years. It's really cool to hear some of his throwback records and some of his new material and stuff too. Dope album. This is one I actually did get off Bandcamp because I like to support him. I bullshit with people Without Shoes every once in a while on IG and stuff, and he's a pretty cool cat, and he respects the fans that are posting the pictures and stuff, and so I thought I'd take a chance, and the album showed up. I was happy. So, but good shit though. It's different. Not his best work, but I really enjoyed this, so it's still cool. It's still fucking 2020 boom bap, which is really interesting. And then we got Cool Keith. What is this? Six Fifth Avenue. This is a weird record, man. I think this one right here, kind of like the other one too, where he's kind of doing like Dr. Doom and Cool Keith, and like Dr. Octagon and shit. It's just he's kind of all over the place and shit like that. I think I like the other one better. That's what that other album I showed is more spacey. It does feel like a Dr. Doom kind of Dr. Octagon element with like Cool Keith. This one feels a little bit more Cool Keith. It's more Cool Keith with a little bit of his other alias. It's hard to explain, but it's Cool Keith, at least he's still doing some shit. But look at that album cover. Doesn't that shit look like it came out in 1998? It's fucking hilarious, man. But Cool Keith's still dropping like multiple records a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so here's a couple kind of middle ground albums. This one got reissued again in 2020, and that's Benny the Butcher's 17 Bullets EP. I think this originally came out in 2016. There's like 6 tracks on here and stuff. I really enjoyed this when it came out. I think it was just digitally only released, I believe. I'm not sure if there was a physical release for this and stuff, but I picked it up. It was cheap. It was like $10. I'll grab the EP and shit like that. So, but it's cool that they're reissuing some of these older releases that were really kind of hard to find and shit. So for the fans of Benny the Butcher can actually pick up some of these physical releases if they want to. So pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Chopped Hearing, this is Fly Fishing Volume 6. This is just a mix. If you're familiar with the Fly Fishing series, this one's mixed by the Jazz Spastics and stuff. It's just basically a bunch of stuff that Chopped Hearing puts out, and they kind of make mixtapes out of it and shit. Really good. It's really good. It's mixed awesomely from Jazz Spastics and shit. So, but it's cool. It's cool to hear, and it is not just all their throwback stuff. It's throwbacks. It's new tracks and stuff too. So it's really cool. It's like 70 minutes of just mix down. Speaking of Jazz Spastics, this is what the fuck's the name of this record? 12-Bit Spit. This is their very first album that came out in 2010. This just got released from Chopped Hearing in 2020. So happy to see a physical release of this. I'm not sure if it was originally released on physical copies. I'm not 100% sure, but this is one I always wanted because I've become such a big fan of Jazz Spastics in the last 7-8 years. And this is one that was kind of missing from the collection and stuff. So pretty cool. We got June Classic on here. Some other cats and shit, but it's just, if you're into Jazz Spastics beats and shit, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into because it's Jazz Spastics. And then we got Burgundy Blood's Sweet Comet record. I think this originally came, this is a brand new 2020 release, but it came out originally in 2014 maybe, or 2012 or 14, somewhere. Somebody correct me if you know the actual release, but it's a little bit older. It just got a release this year. So it's kind of like a throwback, a little, not 90s throwback, but you know, UK MC. I really dug this. I thought this was really cool, this one. So that fucking mask, amazing. All right, so that is the 2020. Oh, you know what? I'll do quickly. I'll just show the 2020 vinyl releases. I didn't really buy a whole lot of 2020 album releases this year, but I did pick up the Aesop Rock Freedom Finger 10-inch here. Actually, the vinyl on here is really nice looking. I gotta actually show this. So 10-inch, it basically did a few songs for the game soundtrack, and then you end up putting vocals over them too, so you get a bonus with the, you know, the instrumentals and shit like that. But this is really cool. I really like the vinyl on that. It was pretty cool. So this 10-inch came out, and I was like, ah, shit, man. Might as well pick it up. Aesop Rock 10-inch. Yeah, pretty cool. And then actually one of my favorites of the year, and that is Godfather Dawn and Parental. And what the fuck is Osmosis? This one, there is a oh, you can see Godfather Dawn's head there. Parental being, I think is he a French producer? Shit, dude, I can't remember. He's like a European producer, but straight boom bap, man. It's like, you know, Godfather Dawn, man. You're used to hearing Godfather Dawn boom bap beats and shit, but it's cool to hear him rapping over someone else's beats, brand new and shit. And it's awesome, man. It's double vinyl. I think it's colored too. Yeah, it is colored actually. And it does come with the instrumentals on it too, which is really interesting. But awesome record. It's pretty short, you know, again, but it's very, very quality shit. So, and you know, Godfather Dawn, man. If you don't pick up Godfather Dawn releases, you just can never get them. So, and of course, we had to pick up the Aesop Rock vinyl also, which is on really cool colored vinyl and shit. I just want to take them out right now, but you know, I had to double dip because one for the ride in the whip, you know what I'm saying, and then in the house the vinyl. Gotta do it like that. I only do it for albums that I really, really love. And of course, I did grab the vinyl for Run the Jewels 4, which again is on colored vinyl also, which I'm not going to take out. So, and then here's one here. We got the starting 5, which is Horse City, The Good People, Carta P, Quentin Gilmore, and this is fucking fantastic, man. All produced by Saint, of course, from The Good People. This is fantastic. This was another HHV exclusive release or whatever, but it's awesome, dude. Awesome. There's 6 songs on here plus the instrumentals, and this is dope shit. One of the best EPs of the year, man. This shit is amazing. I love that name, The Starting 5. You know, with all those cats right there. It's so dope, dude. It's so dope. It's basically The Good People with Horse City, Quentin Gilmore, and Carta P. It's dope. Love this. Really, really good release. So those are 2020 vinyl releases. All right, so let's get into the throwback albums. Need some water. Oh, my throat was getting a little bit fucking dry there. All right, so let's start with the Chopped Hearing album releases, throwback album releases from 2020. I didn't include the December, January ones because I kind of consider those to be like 2019 releases. So if you're very familiar with this line, those albums won't be in there. So it's everything else, but I do have them, of course. But first up, we got Shazam X, the Producer Project EP. Yeah, it's just it's. I want to say this is like mid '90s stuff here from the New York producer and shit like that. But we got sick lyrical damager on here, dude. So dope, man. So fucking dope, man. I'm familiar with that dude from years ago and shit. It was so cool to see him pop up on something, man. It was crazy. We got Sister Act on here, TDK and Posnag and shit. It's short, but it's definitely worth your time and shit. Really, really dope, kind of mid-90s boom bap shit right there. Shazam X, love it. And we got Hardcore Reps. The demos, Foolproof, the demos, I believe this was recorded in like between 1994 and 1996. New York boom bap hip hop. Again, this is a lot of, Chopped Hearing definitely specializes in finding this very, very obscure 90s boom bap. So pretty much, I don't know if I have to keep saying boom bap every time, but this is really fucking dope. Really good shit, man. So Then we got Russ Perez, the Producer Project, Volume 1, and of course we got Volume 2 here also. So these two volumes, and these were all basically recorded between like 93 and like 96, pretty much all in there. 7 tracks apiece. Here's the Producer Project 1. What's on the back there, if you guys can read through the glare. But the Rippa tracks, yeah. And of course we got Volume 2 here also, which really cool. The shorter release, 7 tracks, but it's all quality shit, dude. It's really, really dope. So Russ Perez Volume 1 and Dukes. Then we got, man, I can never pronounce the name of this group, man. Sandinensis? I don't know. I don't even want to butcher the shit out of that, but the Mad Love kind of EP, I guess. This was recorded in 1997. They're from New York and shit. Really dope shit, though, man. Mad dope, actually, to be honest. But yeah, that name, I don't know. My tongue just doesn't roll over properly for some reason. I don't know. Then we got the One Deep Crime Stories EP. I think this one, 1990. I think it was recorded in 1994. You know, it's one thing about Chopped Here, and I wish that they would do, is put the original dates on these. It bugs me sometimes because I'm just like, you know, I gotta do research and remember. But yeah, I think it's 1994. One Deep, dope shit though, man. Crime Stories, dope shit. So, and yeah, they're like a Latino group. This is amazing. I was so stoked when this shit was coming out, man. I was so stoked, man, because I'm a big fan of New Jersey hip hop. I love the New Jersey movement in like the late 80s, early 90s and shit. There's so many amazing groups and artists and shit that came out of there, and a lot of people don't even know of and shit. But this is one, and I was like flipping out, man, when they announced that they're releasing the Fatheads, man. Flip Off the Vibes. I love that fucking song. I absolutely love it, man. It was recorded in like 93, 94. EP, really dope, man. Every song on here is just bangers, man. Fucking glare. But yeah, this is really dope, man. I always knew the song Flip Up the Vibes from years and years ago and shit. And it's amazing shit. Love it. Then we got Born God, who's on that track production. 1994 New York hip hop right here. Dope, really, really good shit here. So. And then we got Yagoo Front, the Secret Tapes Chopped Hearing release. I know this one this one actually did get released in the early 2000s, I think, because a couple of the tracks, the later tracks, actually, I think were recorded in like 2001 or 2001 or something like that. Of course, Yagoo Front being from Virginia. I believe they're from, no, I'm totally lying. They're not from Virginia. I'm thinking North Carolina. These guys are from North Carolina. I'm getting ahead of myself. Virginia's up next here. But Yagoo Front, man, from North Carolina. Pretty interesting stuff. Of course, you know, back in the day, man, we all knew who Yagoo Front is. But this is really cool, man. It's like a bunch of shit that was recorded from like 92 right through the 90s, and a couple bonus tracks that were recorded for the release and stuff. But this is interesting. Secret Tapes. It does actually even contain the bonus secret tracks. Fuck, you can't even see that shit, man. Anyways, but dope release. And then we got Third Eye Entertainment. So I was totally getting ahead of myself when I saw this and I picked it up. But yeah, this shit is from Virginia. Third Eye Entertainment production. I don't know when it was recorded, like early 90s, early to mid 90s and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Yeah, you can read the back there. That's what's on the back. Cool shit. And again, these are pressed up. I don't know why people always seem to ask me that. Like every time I show Chopped Here, and they're always like, "Oh, there's pressed up," and I'm like, "Yeah." We got the Ruckus EP, Unorthodox Style 1994 EP. Well, it actually tells you what year it is. This is awesome, man. This is really, really dope shit too. Yeah, Come Out is amazing. Unorthodox. This is really good shit, man. I love this one. Ruckus. I'm actually not sure. I want to say from New York, maybe? I'm actually not sure. I can't remember. Oh, here we go. Here's another one that actually tells you. MC Class, which I was stoked to see some MC Class stuff come out. Sea Level 1991-93 EP. This is so cool that MC Class is getting released. I hope they release some more MC Class stuff, because there's 7 tracks in here. I know that he had recorded a lot more stuff back in the day and shit, so. But yeah, this is dope. Love the artwork on that too. It's cool, man. So yeah, there we go with that one. And that is the Chopped Hearing throwback releases, all the 2020 releases that they have done from this year. Now, this next one here from Back to the Source is one of the holy grails that I was talking about earlier. And I'm so happy this got like an official release. I know all the track listings and all the bootlegs and all the releases throughout the years have been different, but I'm assuming this is probably the way it's supposed to be. And that, of course, is the Royal Fam, Black Castle, Timbo King's group. Yes, my copy did come in with a crack there. I was not happy about that. I was crying. No, I'll just replace the case. But yeah, this is just fucking amazing, man. One of my favorite, it's right up there with being one of my favorite Wu-Tang affiliate albums. This is one of the earlier ones too. You know, this thing was recorded, I think in like 94, 95, and it was supposed to come out in 96 or something like that. Or maybe it was recorded between 94 and 96 and shit, and it got shelved for various reasons and stuff. But, you know, throughout the years, there was tons of bootlegs and, you know, there was tons of different track listings and shit. There was never anything really fully official and stuff. But this one does have 12 tracks. It breaks it down who's on it and stuff with Timbo King and, you know, True Master and the list goes on and stuff. All the kind of Wu-Tang affiliates and shit. But this is fucking amazing, man. I love it. Like, right from the very first track here, man, Something's Gotta Give. Man, it's fucking hard as shit, dude. But thank you to the fine folks over at Back to the Source. Sorry about the glare. It's so bad. I can't. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Awesome. Holy grail shit for me, man. I was so stoked when that came out. More Back to the Source stuff, and that is Pudgy the Fat Bastard. I believe this is unreleased 1992 to 1998. A lot of this produced by, of course, Nick Wiz, which he worked with immensely over the 90s. It's all over the Nick Wiz Stellar Sounds albums and shit like that. This one, actually, there's a track in here called Think Big with Sadat X and Lord Tariq, which is pretty cool. Missy Elliott was actually even on a track. It's crazy, man. Trackmaster did production on here. He's got a track on here with Bass Blaster, which I wish the Bass Blaster record had to come out, man, because the singles were just banging. Bangers, dude. Straight up bangers, man. But yeah, you know, you're a fan of Pudgy. It's Pudgy, man. It's Pudgy. Then we got, I always forget. The Mischievous LQ and the Mad Scientist Crew. Nonsense. The Mad Sessions, 1995 to 1998. Yeah, I always forget. These guys, I think, are from Delaware. It's crazy. But this is really dope, dude. Really, really dope. This is released from Dust and Dope Recordings. Holy shit, I can't talk. Dust and Dope Recordings. Awesome release, man. Really, really. I was kind of unfamiliar with this, so this was actually really interesting to get, and really enjoyed the shit out of this. So really good stuff from Dust and Dope Recordings. And speaking of Dust and Dope Recordings, we've got the Bomb Shelter Association, which is just basically it's a compilation album of a bunch of Canadian MCs. Of course, got my man Shiloh on here, and the Pillow Snatches, which is actually the first name of First Division, Shiloh's group that he's in now. They once were called the Pillow Snatches. So we got Silence on here, and so it's just a bunch of Canadian stuff, but it's amazing, man. I think this is all recorded 96, 97, 98, somewhere in there. So awesome shit, man. I highly recommend this. Really, really dope from from top to bottom and shit. So yeah, really good collective type shit. Then we're moving on to the Gentleman Relief records. With this is one of my favorite releases of the year, and that's Emski the Complex Engineer. These were all recorded between 1991 and 1995. Most of this is Nick Wiz production too, and it's amazing. Emski, of course, now is part of the good people and shit, but I would hope people knew who Emski was back in the day, because he dropped a lot of shit. It just didn't really get released, you know. He kind of started dropping albums in the 2000s and stuff. We're oh, who's this Emski guy? No, he's been around for a long time, man. But yeah, it's amazing. It's pure early 90s to mid 90s boom bap shit. It's amazing. Emski, one of my favorites of the year. And of course, speaking of the man himself, Nick Wiz with Cellar Extras Part 2, 92 to 99. Yeah, this is the part 2 of this, which is amazing. It's funny because the second song on here actually came out in 2002, and that's the Rakim track. Sorry, my dogs are barking upstairs. But of course, you know, it's all the same suspects on here. We got Pudgy the Fat Bastard. We got Dark Mine on here. We got Emski, of course, Madhouse, Native Assassins. We got LSD. We got Ran Reed, my boy Ran Reed. I love Ran Reed. Shabam Shadiq. All over the place, man. It's all the same cats you can find on all these Cellar Sound volumes and shit, but It's amazing. So yeah. And moving on to the last stack here, man. Holy shit, dude. Which is 90s. Yeah, we'll start off with the 90s tapes releases, which is HHV out of, yeah, they're out of Germany. Their company within HHV. So I'll start off with a tape, which I missed the vinyl NCD this, which pisses me off so bad because I wanted everything from it. But that's Fist of Bunny 101 The High. Did get the tape of this, and it's fantastic, man. It's just like, it's all mid 90s like Fist of Bunny shit like that, and it's amazing, dude. There's so much dope stuff on here. A lot of really great early kind of mid 90s. You know, that whole, you know, that early duck down sound and shit, man, from the Beat Miners. Like crazy. Yeah, so the Beat Miners are all over that shit. Really good stuff though, man. It's a quality tape because, you know, both sides are quite long and shit, and it's on this like nice little white shit and stuff, but good stuff. But amazing from 90s tapes. Love that one right there. Then we got Adagio, which is I think one of the guys, I can't remember their names. One of the guys is from New York, and the other guy's from Philly and stuff like that. Hence, New York to Philly, the title of the record and stuff. So, yeah, I believe this was all recorded from like 96, like the 90s. I think there's a couple late tracks on here that were recorded in early 2000s, but it is like mostly all 90s stuff. I think maybe one or two tracks. Adagio. Good shit though, man. I enjoy this. It's not like one of my favorite albums that, you know, 90s tapes put out, but it's still got some really good shit though. It's quality boom bap. Then we got this randomly odd release from Godfather Don, Beats, Bangers, and Biscuits at 535 East 55th Street. Yeah, it's interesting, man. There's a bunch of unreleased stuff on here. There's a couple songs that are on other releases and shit like that, but a lot of this is different. There's a couple instrumentals in the middle of the album, which are really dope, man. MC is Out to Murder the World. It's like the beat on that is just crazy. Man, one thing I keep hearing from everybody is how much they hate these 90 tapes album covers. I'm like, man, I don't even really care that much. I'm just glad to have the releases and shit, but I just keep seeing everyone like, why don't they take more care of their fucking, you know, the artwork and shit. I'm like, fuck, who cares, man? We're getting these albums, man. Who cares? But yeah, it's Godfather Don. If you're familiar, you know, you're probably a huge fan like I am. Yeah, that's just not gonna focus because it's just not going to. So Godfather Don, dope shit. Then we got K-Mac, Unlimited. I was going to say Untitled. These are obviously commissioned artworks for these albums that were never released in the 90s and shit. I think this one was supposed to come out in 1996 from what I remember. Baltimore MC. There also was another one, Silhouette, female MC from Baltimore too, which I never did grab from this year. I actually completely forgot to grab it. And it's a cover very similar to this. It's obviously the same artist did the artwork for it. Oh, it even says Welcome to Baltimore on it. Oh, that's cool. Sweet. But yeah, no, this is cool, man. This is cool. I like the beats and shit on here. Baltimore 90s boom bap, man. It's cool. Oh, man. Then we got the Blunted Crew, the Triangle. Oh, dude, I was so stoked when this came out, man. I was like super sick. 1999 New Jersey hip hop. Yeah, this is fucking dope. Great release. I think this may have had a release once before. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe someone correct me on that. I think that might have. I'm not 100% sure, but this is awesome, man. Really good boom bap. Loved it. New Jersey hip hop, man. Then we got High Tech. Yeah, man, we got High Tech recorded 96, 97-ish in there, I want to say. Again, they don't put the fucking numbers. They don't put the times and shit on here, but yeah. New York MC. Yeah. It's cool. It's short though, man. It's like 8 tracks, but it does have the instrumentals and shit like that. But this is really damn quality. Really like this one, man. High Tech. DJ Shock presents the music. High Tech's Golden Era singles. It's good though. It's really good. All right, so here's the other Holy Grail album for myself, man. This is one of those albums that I was so disappointed when it got shelved in 1995. And 25 years later, here we are with an actual release for this. And it's just so crazy that this I never thought was actually going to get a release, and that's Science of Sounds, Kaleidoscope Phonics. Yeah, everyone's bitching about the album cover here too, and I'm like, fuck, it's totally fine to me. If you're not familiar, I mean, Tribe Called Quest did a bunch of production and stuff on here, yeah, Godfather Don even produced on here. Phife Dawg was on a track and stuff, and it's just, oh man, this album is so dope. I absolutely love this shit so much. It's like amazing. I can't believe this actually finally got released because I was so bummed out. I swear back in the mid 90s and shit, the source did a little bit of a burp on these guys and stuff. Maybe it was probably in the single section or something like that. And album never dropped. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I want everything Tribe. Tribe's my favorite group, as everyone knows. So, but yeah, really good stuff, man. Finally happy to have a full like copy of Science of Sound, not just like random singles and shit throughout the years. But yeah, awesome. Absolutely elated by that. Then we got The Realist, Time Killer, Gimme Love. This is this album cover. I mean, yeah, there's an argument for this one. It's pretty damn plain and shit, but Michigan hip hop, mid 90s, 95, 96, 97, recorded somewhere in there. It's a weird record, man. I mean, the quality on this, it just feels like it actually was recorded on tapes and shit. So it's kind of cool though, man. I like it, man. It's it took me a couple listens to finally get into this, but there's a track on here with the Mountain Brothers, which is pretty cool. But yeah, interesting release. But I'm always happy to get this very obscure 90s hip hop, you know. Then we got the Pure Derium. I'll Meet You in Greenwich. Yeah, so I believe this was recorded like mid 90s, like 96 to like 2000. I think from what I remember, there's a couple tracks that were recorded on here for like the early 2000s, and this may have had a release before too in the early 2000s. This is like a re-release. Yeah, so I think it's like 96 to 2002, somewhere in there. Chicago group, Chicago hip hop, you know, boom bap, shit like that. But very cool. This was cool, man. I had no idea this shit even existed, but that Sapphire Boxcar Sessions demo. Fuck, I'm starting to get tired, man. This video's gone on for way too long. I was hoping to get through this in like 45 minutes, but apparently I can't do that shit. But yeah, this is pretty cool, man. You know, it's got some of the original cuts on here and shit. But yeah, pretty fucking sweet, dude. The Oakland MC Boxcar Sessions demo. Cool, man. These are the type of releases that I love. I love that type of shit, man. It's fucking awesome. Oh shit, yeah, and that was from Hip Hop Enterprise. So this is all the 90s tapes releases for the year. Now we're on to Hip Hop Enterprise. And this was cool, man. This was a really cool release. I wasn't even too sure about this one. I actually had to check the sound out before I bought this because I wasn't sure if I was going to dig this. But Funk Ghost Ultra Boogie High Life. I'm looking at this going, this has got to be from the South. But I'm like, sometimes some of the South sound isn't really my favorite. Sometimes it is. It just depends, right? But I'm like, man, if it's from the 90s, I'm like, what does this shit sound like? So yeah, so this was originally supposed to come out in 1999. It's a Florida MC. Yeah, it's not Miami based at all. It's kind of like it's weird. It's like a total mixed bag. It has like boom bap moments, and it's got like this real funky moments. It's got beats like all over the place. It was probably recorded for like a few years before, and it was like all these different producers and shit. It's like a mixed hodgepodge bag of like hip hop, but it oddly works when you listen to it. It's crazy. I really enjoyed this shit out of this. Cool release from Hip Hop Enterprise, man. Enjoyed that. And then this was cool to finally get a physical copy of this because heavily bootlegged throughout the years with all the bonus tracks and shit like that. And then of course that's Adore, the Concrete, you know, awesome production from Pete Rock on here, Diamond D and shit. When I remember first hearing Adore back in the day, like when this was like, you know, supposed to come out, this may have even come out in 2000. I think this actually came out in 2000 or this year in 2020. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. But when I remember first hearing his voice, and I was like, dude, man, this guy's voice, man, I couldn't get into him. And then throughout, like, once you listen to it a bunch, you're just like, you don't even really remember. But Let It All Hang Out, it's probably, you know, the shit that people remember and stuff. Enter the Center and shit like that, which is bonus cuts off the shit that he did after and stuff, which is pretty cool. But there's a lot of really dope tracks on here, man. Awesome release. Really, really good stuff. Then we got Kingship. This is something I knew nothing about. It says recorded in 1995. Black and Mild. Didn't really know anything about Kinship at all. Apparently, he is an MC from Virginia. Yeah, so that's actually not him right there. But yeah, MC or a group. I don't know if it's a group or an MC. I think it's actually just one guy. But 95 Virginia hip hop, man. It's very boom bappy. And then we got some Pat Leach here. Some more Baltimore hip hop, recorded 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there. This album took me a couple listens to get into too, but then I realized how much I really dug the shit out of this. I love this album cover too. It's fucking dope. But yeah, it's more Baltimore hip hop. That's the thing about these boutique indie labels that are releasing all this shit, man. They're finding these obscure ass albums from like not just from New York and the West Coast and stuff. It's a lot of places all over. Like you're getting Michigan hip hop, you're getting North Carolina hip hop, you're getting fucking Florida. You're getting Baltimore, Virginia. Like you're getting all this place, Delaware. It's crazy. Speaking of, this is actually, I'm so happy this got re-released because I missed out on this album years and years ago and it went for stupid money. Chicago group, The Chamber, Making Illinois 25th anniversary edition with the bonus tracks. Oh, I love this album. It's a little bit harder, hard boom bap and shit, pretty gangster, but Chicago fucking. Oh, there you go. It says from Chicago. Wasn't lying, was I? Dope record, man. Absolutely love this album. Fucking so happy that got re-released, man. So happy. And last up for the CDs, man, we got Ill Advised. 1997. This was, I believe, Shelf back in the day. Philly Crew from Philly. Man, I love me some Philly hip hop. Love me some New Jersey hip hop. This is really dope, though. Love this record. Awesome boom bap. Can't go wrong with it. And yeah, so I got a couple more 90s. I think this is, I'm not going to show all the throwback 90s vinyl or old school releases that I got throughout the year because I actually, like I said, I don't know where they all are. They're everywhere. I got vinyl everywhere. But I'm going to show the 90s tapes ones because I had them sitting right here anyways. They were just kind of in order. So, but first up, we got the Cool G Rap 456 vinyl release, which is on colored vinyl, which is really nice, actually. I think it's on green. 456, amazing. I mean, we all love this shit. So, yeah, double vinyl. I wish the Buck Wild remix of Fast Life was on here. It's one thing about these releases. I wish they would kind of do that and shit, but this was cool, man, because I only have the tape of this album. I never had the CD, and that's Punk Barbarians, Sex, Props, and Cream. I believe it's 1996. I fucking love this album, man. This is one I never hear people ever talk about for some reason, but really cool stuff on colored vinyl, but really great record. And of course, I had to grab this. I missed out on a couple of the vinyl releases. I missed out on the fucking OGC album. I'm so pissed because I was waiting for that to get re-released because I used to have an original copy and I don't anymore. It pisses me off. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, I went to go get one and it was sold out in like 5 minutes. Crazy. Missed the Lost Boys one also, which pissed me off because I wanted a vinyl copy of that. But I did get a Craig Mack Project Funk the World, which is cool. Like my homeboy Larry said, it's kind of a misstep. They should have put the Flavor in Your Ear remix on here, which would have been cool to include that on here. But again, colored vinyl, pretty cool stuff. But 90s tapes doing big things, man. They're putting out a lot of really obscure things. A few of the vinyl releases are just re-releases of albums that had releases once before, but they needed re-released. So. But anyways, that is going to do it for this monstrosity and marathon video for my 2020 pickups. Yeah, my next video is going to be my top 50 albums of 2020. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of those records are going to be just pictures in the corner, man, because I either couldn't find copies, I just was scared to import them because of the shipping and the lost packages here. Actually, since basically November on, I've had over 30 packages lost. It's crazy, man. So it's been a bad year with the mail getting all jumbled up and shit. So, but you know what? It is. Oh, you know what? I actually did pick up this too. I guess I could show this Biggie Funko of Ready to Die. I saw that. I didn't even know this thing exists, and I saw it, and I was like, I gotta fucking have that, man. One of my favorite albums of all time, but pretty cool, man. I was like, goddamn. So I don't know if they're gonna continue to do more of those or not, but I thought that was pretty neat just for the room and shit. So. But anyways, guys, so I'll be back with my top 50 albums, and then I'm going to get back to doing regular updates and shit. What you see behind me over here is, except for the top shelves, which I've already updated, but I have tons and tons and tons. Like, I was doing good a few months ago, and then I took some time off and accumulated a whole shitload more of albums. And thank God a lot of those albums were in here in this update. So, but I picked up... Like there's this one row right here. It's like all soundtracks and compilations. I've picked up so many over the years. Like it's crazy. So much South stuff, 90s, 80s. Like it's just all over the place. And then I'll probably end up doing a couple year hauls too, because like I said, 2017 and 2018 hauls, which I never did the full hauls for those, are sitting there too. They're like sitting right here. So I might as well just knock those out. And there's a bunch of throwback albums in there too and shit. So, but anyways, I digress. This video's already gone on way too goddamn long. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments down below, and I'll check you guys in the next video very, very soon. As usual, deuces.